Okay, question 5. Graph the function y equals 3 cosine x minus pi force plus 4. So we're going to move the points, and notice we're starting with a cosine graph, but this is always set to a sine graph. So we need to move it, so we're looking at cosine. The difference between those is, remember, sine starts at that 0, 0. That's what our graph's doing now. Cosine, we need to move our maximum up into 1. So I'm going to start this whole process just by making sure the graph is in the right spot. So pi halves and 0, there we're at 1. Okay, let's start. Our general form is a cosine bx minus c plus d. So a is 3, b is 1, c is pi force, not negative. Don't bring the negative. Oops, and d is positive 4. So when we want to find our values, I always start with the midline because it's the d value. It's y equals 4. And then we can determine the amplitude, which is a. It's actually the absolute value of a, which is 3. So right now I'm going to go move our graph up to 4 for our midline and stretch out our amplitude to be 3 above and 3 below. So move this up to 3. That's our midline right now. I want our midline at 3. And then our amplitude needs to come down to, oh, our midline was 4. I was like, that doesn't feel right. Midline is 4. And then I thought I'm moving this down to 1. All right. So now our amplitude's 3, up above the midline and below, and our midline's at 4. Okay, next step is the period, which equals 2 pi over the absolute value of b. Oh, well, b is 1. So 2 pi over 1, which is just 2 pi. So our period is 2 pi. I'm going to look at what we have here. If I'm at my maximum, to our other maximum is at 2 pi. So we're going 0 to 2 pi. I don't have to move anything. Our period is perfect as it is. Hasn't changed. Okay, last thing we find is the phase shift. So that's our horizontal shift. And we find that by taking c over b. So c is pi force and b is 1. So our horizontal shift is positive pi over 4. It's positive pi over 4 over 1, which is pi force. So that means we're going to move right because it's positive pi force. So let's look at our graph here. We move the blue point. The red's our period. We're moving the blue point to move the whole thing. So right now it's at pi halves, and we need to move it this way, pi force. So what we have to do is we have to add these. We need to add pi force to pi halves. So pi halves plus pi force. Common denominator, I hate that it keeps doing that, sorry, is 4. So I'm going to times both these by 2. So now I have 2 pi over 4 plus pi over 4. I'm writing too fast for it. So our denominator's 4, and then 2 pi plus 1 pi is 3 pi. So I need to make sure that blue dot has a value at 3 pi force now. That's the shift. So I'm at pi halves, I'm adding pi fourths, so it's going to be 3 pi fourths right there. And that's it. We've done all of our shifts. Our period was good. Amplitude's good.